Hi LCS students. Today we're going to be learning about an artist named Henri Matisse and how he drew with his scissors. Before we do that though, we have to talk about two kinds of shapes. So we're going to be talking about geometric and organic shapes. Geometric shapes are pretty easy because you guys already know these shapes. These are the shapes that have a mathematical name. So a square, a circle, a pentagon, a triangle, a rectangle, a rhombus, a trapezoid, an octagon, a hexagon, and a parallelogram would all be examples of geometric shapes. I would also say that a heart, a semicircle, and a crescent shape could also be considered geometric shapes because they have a given name that everyone knows. So those are geometric shapes, shapes that have names. Now, organic shapes are new to you. These shapes are free-form, irregular, and often found in nature. They do not have a formal name. So when I look at all the shapes on here, they're not even, they're not completely round, they don't have a lot of pointed edges, and they're not symmetrical. They're not exactly the same on both sides. So I could look at some of these shapes and someone might see a blob, someone else might see a leaf. They can be interpreted in different ways, so they don't have a name. These are organic shapes, free-form, irregular shapes that do not have a name. Now, let's test your knowledge. Is this shape geometric or organic? Remember, geometric shapes have a name, and organic shapes are irregular and do not have a name. If you guessed geometric, you're correct. This shape is a circle. It has a given name. What about this shape? Is this shape geometric or organic? If you said geometric, you're right again. This shape is a heart. It has a given name that everyone knows. Now, what about this shape? Is this shape geometric or organic? If you said organic, you got it right. This shape is irregular around the edges. Some people might say it's a cloud, some people might say it's a blob, but it has no formal given mathematical name. Now, Henri Matisse was a French artist known for colorful paintings and collages. We have made collages many times in art class. Collage is artwork that's created by cutting and gluing paper. Now let's look at some of Matisse's collage artwork. Oh, here he is. He says, look for geometric and organic shapes in my collages. Okay, we can do that. So this first collage, remember that's art made by cutting up pieces of paper and gluing them together, is called the snail. If you look closely, you can see that the shapes go in a spiral pattern like a snail shell. Now, when I look at this project, I see some shapes that are geometric. I see, for example, a large blue rectangle along the bottom, but I also see some shapes that are organic. If you look at the green shape right in the middle, you can see that some sides are curvy, some sides are straight, and it's not completely even. That means it's irregular and it's an organic shape. Here's another example of one of Matisse's famous collages. Now, what kind of shapes do you see in this one? If you said organic, you're perfectly correct. This collage has no geometric shapes. I only see free-form shapes that almost look like something from nature, maybe leaves or coral from the ocean. So this is organic shapes in Matisse's collage. What about this collage? Do you see geometric or organic shapes? If I'm looking at this collage, I see both. For example, I see some diamond shapes which have a mathematical name, And I also see some shapes that are freeform, that are irregular. This is another collage that has geometric and organic shapes. Take a moment or two to identify the shapes that you see and decide whether they're geometric or organic. Great job. Now, take another minute or two and look at these collages and decide whether they are geometric or organic. You guys seem to really know your stuff. Now, before I let you go, I wanted to show you the picture that is on this main screen. If you can see, this is a picture of Henri Matisse when he was working on his collages. When he made collage artwork, he often had to be in a wheelchair. So he would just sit in his wheelchair and cut out his shapes, and then he would have assistants, helpers that would help him paint the paper and clean up his messes and help lay everything out where he wanted it to go. So that's just a little bit about Henri Matisse and his geometric and organic shapes in his collages. Thanks for learning with me.